All right, welcome. This is going to be sort of a shorter live stream or mini live stream, I think is the word I want to use. And if I do mess up, please please forgive me for that. I am on a lull point for a 6-day migraine, and in this lull, I had begun talking with someone who is also trying to lose weight, and I thought, I should just put up another video. I think the issue that we have with weight loss is that there's a totally scientifically understandable way to do it. I think every obese person knows exactly how to lose weight, right? So the people that I've invited, this is not, for those of you watching this in the future, this is not an open live stream. This is a live stream just for people that I know that have struggled with weight in the past or are interested in weight and fitness. So those are the people that have been added, and they're going to just be hopefully helping me keep some ideas or excuses or any kinds of those things kind of taken care of. And I know this, hope I don't sound like I'm rambling too much. Migraines are not a good time. However, it is relevant to what we're going to be talking about today. So every obese person, I think, knows how to lose weight, but they don't. So what is that problem? I think part of the issue has been a lot of the availability of things like fitness Instagrams, things like magazine articles, or now there are articles online that try to give you these quick tips or these quick ideas, quick swaps, or these really beautiful smoothie bowls or something like that to make weight loss look fun and interesting and anybody can do it. We have these cool phrases or cute phrases like CICO or sicko, which is it sicko? Sicko? Calories in, calories out. Eat less, move more. It's this idea almost that the obese person doesn't understand how to lose weight, and they're so unprepared on how to lose weight, and they're just so clueless on how to lose weight. We need to make everything shortened into like this bite-sized mantra that they can keep repeating to themselves because golly gosh darn, they're just too stupid to know how to take care of it themselves. The reality is that weight loss is very straightforward, but how come I'm not doing it? That's the problem. And if we can't bridge that gap, then it's forever going to be separated. Okay. One person says, ever been scared to lose weight? I've been scared to fail. Okay. So the title card for this, and maybe I can just put it up eventually as well, that was me when I was close to about 300 pounds, which is around, I think, 134 or 137 kilograms. I was scared of failing to lose weight. That's what I was scared of. I've made excuses when I was obese, like, well, if I lose weight, then I'm gonna become shallow. That was one thing I was very worried about. I had worked really hard to be this, like a person who I thought was knowledgeable and funny. And I thought if I had lost weight, then the shallowness wins, or society wins, and somehow I'm going to lose a part of myself by losing this fat, which I don't think I've ever really considered actually until you asked that question, Summer. So I think that's a really good thing to discuss. A person that I used to work with had mentioned that she was afraid to lose weight because I don't want to have so much loose skin. I think it's better to be my size now instead of a smaller size with loose skin. Okay. And yes, I do have loose skin. Yes, I have had skin surgery. Okay. But I think, yeah, mostly I was scared to fail and scared to lose a part of who I was. I think a lot of, when you become that fat for that long, you almost justify it. Like it's part of your identity. Or you try to make your self, your personality, your behaviors so separate from your body as if your body doesn't matter at all. And that any focus on your body is somehow, I don't know, not a focus on who you are. The effort that I would put into reading different kinds of research on how to lose weight takes away from the effort I could have put towards my degree, because I lost a lot of weight while I was in college. Do you know what I mean? The effort that I put into exercise replaces the effort I could put into playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. So it was this fear that I would become this obsessed gym rat, and then I would lose everything that was me. I think that's definitely a thing to consider. Yeah. Chris says, what if I'm just a large person? I definitely thought that as well. Maybe I'm just genetically big. You know, my mother is large. Maybe I just inherited this gene and it didn't work. Okay. So if you are watching this and you're wondering how to lose weight or why you're still obese, even though you've tried to lose weight, I think what really helps, first of all, is to think of yourself not as you. Because when I ask you this question, why are you still fat? That's a question, even though I ask this to you, I'm still getting a spike of adrenaline, in my chest. Like, I get a mild anxiety response from that, even though nobody's asking me. I'm the one asking this question. And with that anxiety spike, I'm getting these feelings like, well, it's because of this, and it's because of this, and it's a justification. Okay, so I understand that there's a knee-jerk justification that happens. Well, I can't exercise because I hurt my leg. Well, I'm too busy to cook meals because I'm working 3 jobs. Okay, well, I have kids, so there's no way that I can cook a healthy meal in a quick way and also take care of my kids. Okay, so those are all those justifications. So what I want you to do instead, and you can pause the video because this is a live stream, so we don't want like a big 5-minute blank, just kind of sitting here with me sipping my ginger tea, okay? But I am going to take a sip of it after I ask this question. Instead of asking, why am I still fat? Ask yourself, assuming that you are a sim character in some kind of medical simulation game, what would be the reason this character is still gaining weight? And we're not looking for any justifications or because or any of those kinds of, well, it's X, but it's due to the fact of. Okay, we're just doing the X. All right. So instead of saying, well, yeah, I eat a lot of fast food, but that's because I don't have time to cook, just put, I eat a lot of fast food. Okay. So you can pause the video, but write down all of the things that are causing you to, or causing the character, the sim character, to keep gaining weight. Okay. If I were filling this out, some things for me would be eating large amounts of food when no one's around. That's what I did. Okay. I was the type of person that ate the same amount of food as my friends around my friends. And in private, I just ate as much as I could. I used to bake entire cakes just so I could eat a whole cake or a whole sheet of brownies or a whole square of fudge or a whole batch of cookies or something like that. And while I was cooking or while I was baking, I was picking, I was eating. Okay, I'd make myself a sandwich before I started cooking dinner so I could eat the sandwich while I was cooking my dinner. After Easter, after Halloween, my goodness, you could not keep me out of the store because I was buying all of this now on sale candy, hiding it under my bed, and just eating it all night. Just while I was watching something, I had methods to do it. I had ways to pick it apart. There were different ways to eat different types of snacks. Like, for example, I used to bite like a Cheez-It, little cheese cracker. I used to bite it in half, not like in half, but in half long ways, and then it would be more crispy, and it was like getting too crackers for the price of one, or with the Cadbury mini eggs with that candy shell. I used to eat just the candy shell, and then I would bite the chocolate in half. I mean, I had a whole method to do this. Okay. This became a hobby. This was a hobby. This was my secret life. Okay. So to other people, it may have looked as if I was just eating the same as everybody else and, gosh, just fatter than everybody. Boy, how can this person, I thought people were wondering, how can this person eat the same as me? But wow, she's so much bigger. Okay. In reality, now I know that people know I must have been eating privately. Okay. But I thought I was fooling everyone. I thought I was fooling myself. When I would binge eat, those are things you don't remember eating a lot of times. You open the package, and the next thing you know, there's several packages around you, and like an hour has passed. You don't really remember doing this stuff. It's almost like being in a trance. Okay. Let's see. Food rituals, absolutely. Okay. I used to go, if I wanted to eat fast food, I would go to these different places because I knew that this place has the burger I like, and this place has the chicken I like, and this place has the fries I like, and this place has the milkshake I like. So I went around to all these different places. I would offer to buy people food so that way I could eat my own separate extra meal on the drive home. And then it would look like I'm just eating the same amount of food as everyone else. These are reasons that, of course, I would gain weight. Not just unable to lose weight, but that I kept gaining weight. Okay? So those are some things that if I was trying to answer this question, those are the things that I would write down. Why am I still gaining weight? Why is this medical sim character still gaining weight? Secret eating, chronic overeating, food choice. Obviously, I wasn't overeating, apples. You know what I mean? If I wanted to be healthy, I still was doing the wrong thing. I hear chicken is healthier than beef, and so I would get like a fried chicken sandwich from McDonald's and think, yeah, this is the healthy choice. I mean, this is the stuff that you justify. I wasn't a stupid person. That's one of the problems that I think we have when we're talking to someone who's trying to lose weight. It's like talking to someone who's stuck in a religion. It's not that the person is stupid. It's that there's so many justifications that it's almost like a wall built around that central concept. And it's so hard to get to the heart of that central concept because of this wall. So, in my case, like I started college when I was 16 years old. I knew all of the ways to lose weight, and I knew all the ways I was sabotaging myself. But I didn't make that connection. And I really, really should have, but I didn't make that connection. So let me take a quick drink of this tea. For the second part, that's the because. So if you're writing this down, you can kind of put a line to maybe make a table or something. I eat secretly because. And if that isn't a satisfying answer, write more out. Okay? Write more out. So something like, I eat secretly because I want people to think that I'm eating the same as everyone else and just unfairly gaining weight. That's sort of an unsatisfying answer, isn't it? That's one of the strange things about those justifications that we have, is when we put them on a paper, we realize, actually, now that I write it out, that's pretty stupid, right? That's such a stupid thing. Why would I want that? So this is when I have to explore things like, why am I chronically overeating? And why do I want other people why do I think I can trick them into thinking that it's just genetics and I'm just unfairly overweight or something? Because when they ask me, well, what do you eat when you get home? Oh no, it's the same food as everyone else. And I think I'm tricking them, but they're not being tricked. So what am I just really doing if my goal is to look good in front of other people or look responsible or something like that. I'm just looking silly in front of other people. I look like I'm in denial in front of other people. So I'm actually not achieving that goal. But why is that the goal? Why do I want to sabotage myself and continue to gain weight? Why am I buying so much food if I know that I don't need it? Especially stuff like sugary things that are very unhealthy. There's nothing inherently healthy about all that Easter candy or Halloween candy. Why on earth am I doing this to myself? Those are the things that you're going to want to write down. When you figure that out, then there comes step 3. Okay, so what can I do about it? And this is not an easy one. Now for step 2 and for step 1, you might run into some things like something that Chris wrote here. Obesity is natural. People have always been obese. Well, it's just this is the weight my body likes to be at. I've heard about a set point theory. Well, I'm on certain medication, and that medication makes me gain weight. My metabolism's just really slow. And, that's just not fair. One of my friends, boy, he can eat 10 cheeseburgers and, lose weight, but I smell a cheeseburger and I gain weight. Okay? If those are some of the issues that you're writing down, ask yourself this question. If it was my job to help a person lose weight, and that person was telling me all of these reasons, what solutions would I come up with for them? We're not arguing with the person inside of you, the obese saboteur, okay? We're not arguing with that person. We're trying to come up with solutions, okay? We don't want to be at odds with ourselves. We don't want to hate ourselves, okay? You probably hate yourself for a lot of reasons anyway if you're watching this, okay? If you're anything like me, there's a lot of reasons that you grow up with self-hate and other issues. We don't need another reason, okay? So we want to figure out, how do we solve this problem as opposed to how do we fight this person or shut this person up? Let that voice come out. Well, it's just a side effect of the medication. Okay, what are some solutions that you guys can think of? So you guys in the chat here, what are some ideas if that's what a person says? It's just a side effect of the medication. So pretend it's your job to come up with solutions for a client, for a patient who just can't lose weight. And when you ask them, why do you think you can't lose weight? They say, well, it's this medication. I started this medication and it's like clockwork. Every week, I just keep gaining more weight. And I looked it up on the side of the pill bottle and it says weight gain is a side effect. So there's nothing I can do about it. What suggestions, solutions, advice would you give to this patient? There are meds that reduce appetite too. Can you take those to counteract the side effects? That's one I didn't think of. That's a really interesting one. Okay? If this medication is making you increase your appetite, and it's very hard to tell our bodies no when we have these really strong urges, isn't it? I mean, that's not to get into this whole discussion about free will and everything, but that is actually one of the big issues, How much control do we really have over our bodies and stuff, right? So when we get that urge to just put some food in my mouth, it's really difficult to turn that off. And if I've got a medication that exacerbates that, forget about it, okay? So why not take a medication that reduces my appetite, okay? If it depends on the steroids, or it depends on the medication. If it's steroids, it happens. That's true. But not everybody on steroids gains a bunch of weight. So I would advise that person, well, have you looked into what the average weight gain is? So for example, people say quitting smoking, the average weight gain is like 10 pounds or something. When you quit smoking, because the people that are putting, cigarettes in their mouth, they have this kind of just this fixation. They say oral fixation, but it's just this desire to put something else in the mouth. Okay, keep the mouth busy, right? So the average weight gain is 10 pounds, but you gained 100 pounds when you quit smoking. You know, you can't blame it on that. How come everybody else is only gaining 10 pounds on average and you were the one that gained 100 pounds? Okay. So you can decrease the dose, maybe change the medication, change the stuff you're eating. Okay. Pre-plan your meals so that the changed appetite can't affect what you eat. That's another suggestion. Okay. Sorry guys. Whenever it's cold and whenever I deal with a migraine, I always get these little nose moisture. There are other options for you, basically. There are solutions. I mean, there's a lot of people that have Hashimoto's. Okay, that's a situation or a disorder where your metabolism is just totally grinds to a halt because of your thyroid. But there are people that don't gain a bunch of weight. There's people with PCOS that don't gain 200 pounds. So how come somebody who did gain 200 pounds says, aha, it is the PCOS? We want to think about it a bit more like removing as many variables as we can. So if the PCOS people that don't gain weight still have PCOS, how come I've gained all this weight with PCOS? Maybe it's not the PCOS. Okay. In my case, having been so obese and lost all that weight puts my metabolism in a slower state. It sucks. It is what it is. I have to accept that the example I gave where my friend can eat 10 cheeseburgers and lose weight, I can't even smell a cheeseburger, otherwise I gain like 5 pounds, ha ha ha. Okay, then don't smell the cheeseburger. It's not fair. Okay, accept it. There's a lot of stuff that happens in life that just sucks. But you know what sucks more? Being obese. Let me tell you, I am much happier now with those restrictions than I am obese. And can you imagine obesity and a migraine? Anytime I put too much effort into something, I'm at risk of triggering a migraine. Like if I strain too much, this is why my exercise had to change. I can't imagine migraines and being obese like I was. I was that person that had to rock to get out of a sofa. Bending over to tie my shoes rushed a bunch of blood into my face. Even just tying my shoes would trigger a migraine. Trying to get out of bed would trigger a migraine. If I already had a migraine, what could I possibly do? Everything is going to make it worse. Now, just because I lost weight, that doesn't mean I don't have migraines. But wow, what a significant difference in quality of life. That I could easily take my time and walk somewhere versus struggling to walk somewhere and making the migraine worse with each step or each minute that I'm standing. Okay. So Summer says, yep, I have that with an eating disorder history. Metabolism was already bad. Exactly. Eating disorders definitely ruin your metabolism. Okay. But that doesn't mean that you are doomed to do this, doomed to gain weight, or doomed to be unable to lose weight. Okay. Summer says, because of COVID, it's taken 15 months to come close to a normal TSH and free T4. If the person isn't very disabled, they can exercise. That's true. But what if they are disabled? What if they've had a history of medical problems? What if they're too poor to afford a gym membership? What if they work too much and they just are out of energy? Those are a lot of the reasonings, the second step that people say, well, this medical sim doesn't exercise because the medical sim is too X, Y, and Z. For me, I used to run and then I can't. I was training for competitive bodybuilding and then I couldn't. These are things that sucks. You know, I was very stubborn. I kept trying to go for runs and immediately regretting it. Kept trying to lift heavy, immediately regretting it. And I thought, well, if I can't do that, then forget it. And no surprise, weight started adding up again. I realized I don't have to do all or nothing. I don't have to run until I vomit to make sure it's a good exercise or a good exercise session. I can still go for a walk, a nice slow walk. I can ride an exercise bike. I can lift weights slowly that are light weights. I still am able to make progress. I'm still stronger than I would be without. Just because I can't be, some bodybuilding great on the stage somewhere doesn't mean that I have to be the exact opposite. I can be somewhere in between. And that's better than being the exact opposite. Okay. Walk 5 minutes at a time, multiple times a day. I'm down nearly 5 pounds. Absolutely. If you have a break, don't sit down and, check your phone. Walk around and check your phone. Just getting in that little bit of activity if you feel like you don't have a lot of options. That's going to help you. Going to the bathroom, drink a lot of water throughout your workday, and then every time you have to go to the bathroom, do 10 squats. Something like that. If you go to the bathroom 10 times a day at work, you're doing 100 squats. That's cool. That's 100 squats more than you would have otherwise done. You know what I mean? Doctors can prescribe physical therapy that uses water. Absolutely. Okay. When we make those excuses, we stop any possibility of progress. There's a truth to some of it, right? I'm never going to be able to run again. That is true. But that doesn't mean that I have to just accept complete inactivity. Maybe you have metabolic issues. That's true. But that doesn't mean you have to just eat the same way as your friends and totally gain weight as a consequence. We have to understand how to manage all of the crap that we've been dealt. Otherwise, it just piles up and it makes our life stink, right? We don't want to be dealing with that. Chris says, what about it's hard to find healthy foods, right? I can't afford healthy foods. It's hard to find healthy foods. Please do not be tricked by this idea of healthy foods being a pre-packaged salad or the more expensive, leaner beef, okay? All of these vegetable, grains kinds of foods, these are poor foods. These are foods for people in poverty. They always have been. The idea of meat at every meal, that's a luxury. That's a luxury for people in the past. That's a luxury for some people today, depending on where you live. Okay? Something like a pound of dried lentils. That's so easy to cook. It's so cheap. A pound of brown rice. Not that pre-parboiled minute rice in the little microwavable 6-pack. No, just the little box of it's just a pound of just regular rice. Frozen vegetables. Not the really delicious sauce added, seasoned well, just plain chopped frozen vegetables. Vegetables on sale, especially if you have weird hours and you're coming home around midnight. If you can go to a grocery store that's open around that time, a lot of the stuff is marked down because it's set to expire and it's marked down at the end of the day. That's one way to, make sure you get your food real cheap. Okay. When I was on government assistance, I had a food stipend for government assistance. And I was eating a just whole foods, plant-based diet. In fact, I was totally vegan. I would spend so little money that at the end of the month or towards the end of the month, I was left with about half of my money for that month. And so I would deliberately go out of my way to try all of those vegan products or those special healthy products, the the really like special or high-end like kombucha that was, $5 a bottle that I would never have bought otherwise, or these new vegan cheeses or something like that I never would have purchased otherwise. It's so cheap to eat a plant-focused diet. It's so cheap. Now, there are some people who are wondering, well, what if I live in an area that's a food desert? Even in a place like Detroit, I was still able to find whole foods, plant-based, cheap food. Again, lentils, cans of beans, rice, just dry rice. Ugly vegetables, not bad vegetables, not spoiled vegetables, but the ugly vegetables that were kind of given to the these shops that service areas that are more in poverty. I mean, these are just things you can buy. You can order stuff online as well. There's, thanks to the pandemic, which is such a weird phrase to say, there's been a lot more connectivity with online services. They've become more cheap and more widely available. Buying a lot of these about to expire vegetables on sale, chop them up and just throw them in the freezer. Now they're ready to cook. And they're easy to cook. The easiest way to cook them that I've found is either a rice cooker, or you can cook this stuff in like just a big pot. And that's it. Just turn it on, maybe monitor it. But, if you got kids, if you got other chores to do, if you've got you're only home for a couple minutes and you got to run out and, run an errand or something, yeah, definitely the rice cooker. Okay, it's a very safe way to cook. It keeps everything nice and warm. Super easy to cook. I'll just tell you right now, you just put in as much rice as you like, and the lentils and the frozen vegetables mixed up together. Just put your finger on top of the rice, okay? And this first line here, just fill it up with a liquid, okay? It can be, chicken broth or vegetable broth, water, water mixed with coconut milk, something like that. Whatever seasonings you like, cover it, turn it on, leave it alone, and it's done. Okay, it's sort of like a rice pilaf kind of thing that you end up with. It's very easy. It's very storeable, portable, tastes good hot, tastes good cold if you're at work or at school and you just need something quick to eat. Okay, there's all sorts of ways, all sorts of solutions to come up with. Why aren't you allowing yourself those solutions? That's what you have to figure out. If you can't figure that out, or you don't want to answer that question, you will never lose weight. You just can't. Okay? Frozen veggies from Walmart, canned veggies from Aldi, or WM. I don't know WM. Kroger puts fish on deep sales in the evening with time left before expiration. Apples and bananas are cheap. Absolutely. If you're having issues with money, then your goal is go to the store and buy what's on sale that fits within your new approach to your eating. Okay? So if you see, oh, but those chips I really like are on sale. That's true. But why are you going to spend money setting yourself back? Think about it that way. Why would I do that to myself? I can still enjoy potatoes. Why do I have to have this prepackaged, deep-fried product that's not going to help me meet any of my goals? It's not going to make me any healthier. It's not going to help me with that. It's just going to be, yeah, I could spend the $1 on this. That's true. It's only $1 when it's normally $5. I'm saving $4, right? No, you're spending $1 to go backwards. Or you can take that $1 and put it towards frozen vegetables. Why aren't you making those choices? That's the question you need to answer. Okay? Hopefully this has been helpful. I do plan on doing a few more of these types of videos. Okay? But basically, that's the start in order to make that those steps. Okay? Number 1, what is the reason this medical sim character is not losing weight and is still gaining weight? What are the reasons that this is being allowed to happen? If it was a client telling me these reasons, and it's my job to help them lose weight, what are solutions that I would come up with for them based on what they told me? Okay. Haven't done it, but you can air fry or bake fries, potatoes, yams. Absolutely true. I love my air fryer. I've got a lot of frozen vegetables. I buy a lot of them just on sale. Just grab all of them. Like I have all these Brussels sprouts I bought on sale. Bring them home, chop them in half, put them in the bag, put them in the freezer. And then whenever I feel like eating something, especially something that's salty, I just open the bag, pour some into the air fryer, close it, turn it on. 15 minutes later, 10 minutes later, take them out, mix them up with some, I don't know, mustard something, or a low fat or low calorie dressing that you like. Mix them up and enjoy them. Dip them into some dip that you like. Be careful with the dips. They add up surprisingly fast. I definitely recommend looking at the calories for this stuff. They add up surprisingly fast, yeah. So always make sure it's like a low calorie. Low fat does not always mean low calorie. No sugar doesn't mean low calorie. And also the, what am I thinking? Mustard. Mustard's also good. Now the reason I am bringing up the low calorie thing, let me see if I can bring up this window. Yeah. Okay. So I have this open in another window. We're going to just kind of move these around. Okay. There we go. Cool. So this was started in the United States because there was that idea, right? I don't even know how real this statistic is, but everybody knows this statistic, so regardless of how real it is, it should be addressed because it's so prevalent in pop culture. And that statistic is 95% of diets fail. Who has heard of that? Well, diets don't work for me. I mean, haven't you heard? 95% of diets fail anyway. I mean, the odds are so stacked against me. Summer says mustard for dip. Absolutely. There's a lot of nice mustards too. There's also like these non-fat mayonnaise. So you can do like mustard and mayonnaise, or there's like non-fat sour cream or vegan sour cream. Portion it out. Make sure you know how many calories are in there. Sure. Add some seasonings. There's even those like ranch seasoning packets. If you like ranch, mix it in with some of these, fat-free sour cream. Just made ranch, and it's way better. It's like that veggie dip ranch. It's not the salad ranch. It tastes really good. You can make it vegan if you want to. You can make it low fat if you want to. You know what I mean? Organic if you want to. Do it the way you like it. So who's heard of that? 95% of diets fail. All right. I think a lot of the viewers that are in the live stream are also doing other stuff, which is totally fine, but that's why we're not getting any responses right now. Okay. The reason that this was made, this image that we're looking at here, the National Weight Control Registry, was to address this idea. The 95% of diets fail. So what are the 5% doing that's successful? Okay. Any guesses? To be part of this registry, you have to be at least 18 years old. You have to have maintained at least a 30-pound weight loss. I think it's about 13, 14 kilos weight loss for at least a year or longer. And then you're eligible for the research study. Okay. I've joined this. And the secret is, honestly, I mean, when you hear it, you're just going to be like, of course. Just track your calories. That's it. So what does that mean for the 95%? That means that they went on a short-term diet, and the diet worked in the short term. Okay. But after the diet, they went right back to their previous eating habits. I've done it. I know exactly that cycle. And of course you're going to gain more weight. Because of course you are. I mean, if I'm eating in a way that makes me gain weight, and then I stop eating in a way that makes me gain weight, and I start to eat in a way that makes me lose weight, and I start to lose weight, and then I return to the way that made me gain weight, what am I going to expect other than weight gain? Right? They talk about yo-yo dieting, it's a vicious cycle. Then don't do the yo-yo dieting. Don't do the short-term diet. And that's another big thing. Dieting has not worked for me in the past is a phrase that obese people say. But what we're really talking about is I've done diets, they were successful, but when the diet ended, I gained all that weight back. So the whole idea here is to just change your method of eating. Change the way you see food. But what is stopping you from that? That's the part you have to figure out first. Why am I so tied to this food? Why am I letting a 20-piece McDonald's chicken nuggets ruin parts of my life? Why am I giving up my health for Ben & Jerry's ice cream? Why am I giving up my mobility for a bunch of Cadbury mini eggs? Why am I doing this? That's the problem that you have to overcome. What is it about these foods, about these tastes, about these textures that I find to be so pleasurable or so desired or so perceiving it to be so necessary to me that I am willing to harm my quality of life? Why am I doing this? Those are the things you have to answer. And those answers are not, they're not going to be nice answers, okay? This video is for people that have like a chronic, long-term overeating problem, okay? This is the stuff that's going to come up is like trauma, childhood issues, unresolved anxiety problems, other types of adult trauma, okay? You might find that you have an eating disorder you didn't realize. You might find that there's a lot of repressed things that you're trying to not deal with, that were just too awful to speak about. And then you're replacing that with something else. And you may have even told yourself, well, at least it's not drugs, right? At least it's not heroin, you know? Gosh, wouldn't it be better if I was addicted to cocaine? Is that what people are saying? So that way I could be skinny? No way. At least it's better to be addicted to food. That's not a drug. You're using it like a drug. Now, there are some people that cite studies about sugar reacts the same way in the brain as cocaine. I don't know about all that. But I will say that you can abuse food as if it were a drug. That's definitely true. So how do you stop abusing food? People say, well, you know, with alcoholics, they can quit drinking completely because the body doesn't need alcohol, but the body does need food. So how am I supposed to just quit food? Nobody's asking you to quit food. They're asking you to quit making the choices that you're making in regards to your food. So when you go to the store, I could easily fill my shopping cart with all the foods I know I shouldn't have because they're going to harm my body. Or I could fill them with all the foods I know that I should have because they're better for my body and cheaper. So how come I'm not making the second option? What's stopping me from that? What is compelling me? Why do I have this compulsion to put all this food into my shopping cart that I know I shouldn't have? Those are the issues you have to deal with. It's a messy thing, okay? It's going to be difficult. You're going to have, you likely will have panic attacks trying to give this stuff up. You're going to feel so silly. I'd rather, not have the panic attack and have the stupid chocolate bar instead of having a panic attack and feeling like an idiot in the store, okay? Those are the things that's going to go on in your brain while you're making these changes. But the good thing is it does pass, okay? If you can get help from a therapist, please do. If you can get help from a doctor in the form of, hey, maybe there's something wrong with the way that my body interprets hunger. Is there an appetite suppressant that can help me? That can be helpful, okay? Sorry. One person says, my FitnessPal is an amazing app for tracking calories. I have my FitnessPal. I like it. It's great. You know, there's a paid option I've never used. It's great for tracking your calories for sure. There's a lot of stuff in there. You can scan barcodes. You can enter your own food. You can enter meals that you typically cook. A food scale is also really helpful. Don't guess any of your calories, because we are bad guessers, okay? Until you've really, really, really learned what a portion looks like, what 1 tablespoon of of mayonnaise looks like, for example, you're really not able to make those guesses right away, okay? A step tracker can be helpful, especially for people that are trying to work in extra exercise because they feel like they can't sit down and do some exercise, like set aside some time and do some exercise, okay? And if that's you, you know, again, why do I feel like I can't do that? And what would I tell somebody who is explaining this to me as the reason they can't lose weight and stay active? What would I tell them as a solution to that issue, okay? So check out this site. I'm going to put this site in here. I'm going to talk about set point theory and stuff, and that's going to be in the, I'm going to mention set point theory, but then that's going to be also something to read, okay? Set point theory is really interesting, and I recommend reading the research on it. And that's all I'm really going to say. I think part of the problem is we search, especially online because it's so easy, we search for terms that are not helpful to us. So if I'm to search up, is set point theory true, or set point theory weight loss or something like that, I'm usually going to get a lot of Tumblr account results, like these WordPress blogs. And I'm not saying that just because it's posted on a blog, it's automatically wrong. I'm not saying that. But the problem is that the person who wrote it may have misunderstood the study. They may not even have read the study. They may not link you the study. So I'm just going to link you the study. Check it out. Okay. It's a bit of a read. And if you've got questions on it because you're not familiar with reading studies, post it in the comment section below for sure. Okay. Definitely happy to help you out with that. But I think it's important to read the studies. All right. Are you a successful loser? Join the study. Again, yeah, it's just counting your calories. Okay. It can be kind of fun. You can turn it into a game, but that's not what this is about right now. Not this video. Okay. So I do feel like I am kind of rambling a bit. Probably going to take a nap after this because of my migraine. And then wake up and try to figure out some exercise and stuff that I can do. Okay. If you guys have questions, please, please, please ask them. And please be open to answers. Okay. But I would also recommend asking yourself those questions first. The solution for a lot of this stuff is so straightforward that you've heard it a million times before. So just the biggest issue is going to ask yourself, how come I'm not following all of these solutions? Why am I still letting this be a problem for myself when other people aren't letting this be a problem? Other people with PCOS aren't stopped from weight loss. Other people that have disabilities like I do are not prevented from fitness. So what is the disconnect in my mind and my actions? I know how to do it and I'm not doing it. Why is there that disconnect? That's going to be the big issue. And again, if you can get therapy for it, it's going to be helpful. Okay. This type of chronic overeating, this is not an easy solution. It's a straightforward solution. It's not an easy solution. Okay. It's like learning calculus. You can learn it, but it's going to be a process. Okay. It's not just something that you, oh yeah, we open the calculus textbook, and yeah, I totally understand it as, a 5-year-old student who's still figuring out, what's 1 + 1 and how come, the plus sign looks like this and the minus sign looks like this. You're not immediately going to understand calculus. Now, there is a really easy, straightforward method on how to go from arithmetic to calculus, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean it's going to be quick. Okay, that's the issue. All right. Now, Summer did mention something real quick. I think we should mention is having a food block. I have a hard time on deciding what to eat. Honestly, I eat a lot of the same foods every day. I know what's in them. I know they're healthy. I know they're cheap. I just end up eating a lot of the same food every day, quite frankly. Part of that boredom with it helps prevent me from overeating too. It's like, yeah, it is what it is. Because when I put it in my mouth, it's, it touches on those food satiety things. Like, I can feel full and I know that it's nutritious and it tastes fine. But it's not lighting up any of those old, quote unquote, addiction circuits. Do you know what I mean? We're not getting the rush of sugar on the taste buds that gets me really excited. We're not getting all the salts and cheesy flavors that get me really excited, right? To make me want to just keep eating more. And so having that kind of boring food, it's not bland. It's the same food over and over. I know what's in it, we can change the format, kind of like with Taco Bell. It's all the same ingredients. They just kind of change the way they put it together. Yeah, okay, cool. It's not bad food. It tastes nice, It's just not as exciting. I don't mean interesting. I mean like your body responding to it. It's not as exciting as pizza or fried chicken or something like those old like food habit or food addiction habit, if you want to phrase it that way. Okay. So that is helpful to me to just have that same food, and I know what's going in there. I know how many calories are in there. I know that it tastes nice, That's one thing that helps. Maybe I'm going to have it with this today. Maybe I'm going to have it with that today. Well, bell peppers weren't on sale, so this one's without bell peppers. Something like that. But that kind of repetition really limits that binge response or that binge trigger. So I definitely recommend that boringness to it, that kind of almost stuck in a rut kind of approach to it, yeah. The way I've lost weight is eating the same few foods. That's what Summer says. Exactly. We just get too excited, okay? It's like, there's some dogs that are very patient, and you bring the leash and the dog knows to just sit there patiently, and then you put the leash onto the collar, the dog waits at the door, you open the door and the dog looks at you, and you say, come on, and then you head outside. You close the door and lock the door. The dog's waiting, and the dog waits for you when you walk. That's most people's response to food. Okay? But for people like us, Summer, and for people like the people probably watching this in the future, okay, we are the dog that loses its mind when it's time to go outside. Okay? When we see the owner maybe moving towards that leash hanging from the wall, we are the dog that's just wiggling, and we're all over the room, and we're running around, and we're scratching at the door, and we're going crazy, and we're jumping up and down, so it's so hard to get the leash on, okay, and the leash is on the collar, and we're pulling on the collar, and the door gets open, the owner almost trips over us, and we're pulling at the leash while the owner's trying to fumble with their keys to lock the door, and we're straining to get outside, okay? That kind of dog has a hard time processing going outside. That is us with food. When you say, hey, do you want a Cadbury cream egg? I have extra. I have to say no. Because if I get that taste, I'm going to say, I need more. I got to get it. Oh, God. You know what? I'm going to go to, where did you buy that? Did you buy that at the new store that's over here? I'm going to go buy it, and I'm going to come back with a whole purse full of these stupid eggs. And at work, I'm just going to eat them. I can't do that with food. So that's why it's very hard to introduce those foods again. You can slowly introduce those foods. I've reintroduced Sour Patch Kids, okay? But you have to be so careful with how you do it, Because you bring that Sour Patch Kid and you think, okay, I can totally do it. And as soon as that tangy sweetness hits your tongue, you go into that frenzy again. And you're back at the store without even realizing it, buying all the different flavors. I didn't even know they had this flavor. And there's a new flavor too. Oh my gosh, and they have the giant bag now. And you come back home with this huge armful, sit in front of the TV, and just start going to town. And the next thing you know, what the hell are all these Sour Patch wrappers doing? Oh my God. And your tongue is bleeding because you ate the Sour Patches until you started bleeding your tongue. I've been there. I know that feeling. Okay? You have to train that dog. And a lot of that training comes from that boring type of food. Okay? You guys want that Cadbury eggs. You're like the motorboating the food, right? Yeah. Okay, I would say it's not problematic. I would say it's normal for people that are trying to maintain their weights or trying to lose weights still, that have had that kind of food frenzy. I think that's what I'm going to use instead of the word addiction. Food frenzy. Okay? Because that's sort of what it is, isn't it? It's just, you just can't control it, right? As soon as you touch that pepperoni to your tongue, the whole pizza's gone and you're already ordering another one. And then you're thinking, I could order another one. Or, last time I was at the store, there was a sale on frozen pizza. You get in your car and the next thing you know, you're back home. It's 2 hours later. There's boxes and wrappers everywhere. And you're just like, what the hell happened? This isn't me. It's almost like you're possessed by like this frenzied ghost that died of starvation or something. You know what I mean? You're just like possessed by this starving ghost or something, or this starving demon that's just there to destroy your body and your wallet and your progress, to destroy your mental health and everything. So the best thing you can do is just not let that demon in by staying away from certain foods that you know are going to trigger that. Okay? Is that fair that your friends can eat the things that you desire and they don't gain weight and they don't go into a frenzy? No, that's not fair. But it's not fair that some people are born with diabetes either. You know what I mean? Who promised you a fair life? Why are you the one that gets to have everything be fair? You're not. This is the thing that you have to deal with. This is your struggle. You gotta learn to manage it. Okay? And just like somebody that's born with like type 1 diabetes, this kind of behavior, which is usually caused by a trauma, an eating disorder, anxiety issues, all of the above, some combination of the above, some combination plus extra stuff of the above, these don't go away either, okay? Just like type 1 diabetes. These are things that have to be managed, but if you get too comfortable and you start saying, well, I can get looser with it, just like mismanaging your diabetes, you're going to have a relapse, you're going to have a hard time. Okay? So that's kind of the long term of it. That's how you keep that weight off. And it sucks. But you know what sucks more? Having all those same problems and carrying around all that extra weight on your joints. Being unable to find clothes that fit and look okay. Smelling weird, and then you wonder, oh my gosh, is that me? Did I forget to clean under a fold in the shower? I mean, all of those issues that I used to have, I don't have those problems anymore. I have the other problems, but I don't have those additional problems. And you know what? I mean, they're not all going to go away. So if that's my choice, is all of the problems and a bunch of additional physical problems, or just the problems and not the additional physical problems, well, of course, the second one makes most sense. All right, steer clear of commercials and food romanticizing. Yes. Okay. One thing that may help you, so look at disgusting food. That kind of helps me to like try to make me feel grossed out by certain foods like this. Like if a pizza was really delicious to you, you can try to find pictures of like a pizza in the toilet or something. That can be helpful. But be careful. You got to know yourself, because you might be like, nah, I'd still eat it. You got to be careful with that. Looking at food, it just even online, that'll make you want to eat. Okay. So at least you could try to look up healthy food, or, well, what could I do to change this food to be healthy, or something along those lines. But try to reduce as many of those triggers as you can. Eventually, some of them might not trigger you anymore. In other cases, they might only trigger you when you're really stressed out. Okay? So yeah, I'm totally fine with eating bread unless I'm having a really stressful day at work. I'm really fine with eating chocolate, and I can portion my chocolate really well unless I'm getting into an argument with my significant other. And then it doesn't, like, that trigger starts again. Okay? It's all about trial and error. You're going to make mistakes. Okay? It's not an easy journey, but it's a straightforward journey. So at least we have that. Okay? Thin and all the problems, or fat with the same problems. Yeah, exactly. I used to ruin food. That's one that can be helpful if you know that you're going to overeat this thing. You just can't. You bought the pizza. You brought the pizza home from a work thing because you figured you were going to portion it, and now that it's in your house, you can't. You feel that dog, that demon dog being all frenzied in your body again. Overbake it, make it on fire, throw it into the trash, and then take the trash out and put it outside. Something like that. Okay? You could, hypothetically, wouldn't it be better to donate that food? No. You can feel guilty about, throwing the food away. Throw it away. Just throw it away. Rip it up, put it in the toilet, flush it down. Something. Okay? That's going to be helpful to you. Because you can try to over salt it, or I've heard of people saying, yeah, I just put too much salt in my food. It makes it harder to eat. I'm going to wash that top off. I'm going to eat it anyway. You know what I mean? Too much hot sauce? We'll just add a little more lettuce. Then we'll just spread it out, eat it all up. You know what I mean? Or there was one, oh my gosh, this thing was so hot. It was like the spiciest thing I had ever eaten. My ears started ringing. So I would just take breaks while I ate it. I didn't. This will not deter me. Okay, I'm the person that's got to tear it up, throw it in the toilet, and flush it down. Because I can't. Even knowing if it's in the trash, I'm gonna go take it out of the trash. Because it's my trash. I put it there. I know what's there. I know it's just sitting on top, dust off the bottom. I mean, tear it up, put it in the toilet. That's something. Flush it away. Can't possibly get it now. Okay. Now you just give the food away? Exactly. Okay, I give a lot of food away. Give it away to my friends. Give it away to my coworkers. Hey, I bought too much of this. Or, hey, I had this, but there's a little extra. I didn't eat from it. You guys can totally have it. Okay? But don't plan that, because it's not going to work. Because you're going to plan that. I'm going to bake a bunch of cookies, but then I'm going to give it to my coworkers tomorrow. And then you bake a bunch of cookies, and you explain why you have to eat them all right now. Well, they're not perfect tasting, so I better just eat them all and bake another batch. And then you bake another batch. Well, these ended up being kind of lumpy, awkward, and I don't want my coworkers to think I'm a bad baker. I better just eat them all and make another batch. I mean, it sounds totally ridiculous to most of you, and I'm glad. Okay? But for those of you that are watching the video because you need the video, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? You're not alone. I promise you're not alone. Okay? If there's an interest, I guess we can make a Discord group. Okay? On just, struggling with chronic overeating and just how have other people managed, writing down your struggles, and especially writing them down and just seeing how stupid they are. Because that thing I just told you makes perfect sense about baking, eating. It makes perfect sense in your head. But once it comes outside of your head, you realize immediately, this is the dumbest thing I ever thought of. Why the hell am I eating all the damn cookies? And if I suck at baking, why do I keep trying to impress my I'm not bringing these to work. I know I ain't bringing these to work. Why do I keep making these? Nope. Okay. Alright, guys. Your living environment is a little different. Your neighbors appreciate it. Absolutely. That's definitely helpful. But again, don't go into it expecting to do that, because then you just won't. Okay. That's something you can work up to, but right away, that's not it. Okay. If you guys have questions, please ask. I hope this was helpful, okay? If this wasn't helpful to at least get you started, I hope it was helpful to realize that you're not alone, okay? It feels very lonely because you feel like you're the only one struggling with this because you're the biggest in the family and you're the biggest at work or at school and you're the biggest in your group of friends. I know that feeling. I get it. But you're not alone, okay? And you don't have to be the biggest anymore. You can be not the smallest. You could be the smallest, okay? In some cases, in previous groups where I was the largest, I'm the smallest one now. That's a very strange change for me, okay? But that doesn't have to be the goal, okay? But you're definitely not alone, all right? Mini banana bread. She thought it was awful. It wasn't. I ate a bite. I may eat a bite with breakfast, and then throw it out. Yeah. You might feel guilty for that too, because your friends made something, right? But think about that. If I gave my friends something that I didn't know they were allergic to it, would I want them to eat it anyway? Just because I gave it to them? No. Okay. If they threw it out and told me they gave it away to somebody or whatever, that's perfectly fine. Oh, I can't have that. I'm allergic to it. Okay, I get it. Okay. So if it's a good friend or something, you're like, I have a really bad memory associated with this food, has nothing to do with you, so I gave it to somebody else. When in reality, you just threw it away. That's totally acceptable. Because they're not going to want to give you something that stresses you out, is bad for your body, is bad for your mental health. Nobody is doing that to do that. So you're not doing them a favor by eating this thing that you know is bad for you. You know what I mean? So don't feel guilty about throwing it away or giving it away. Because, well, my friend spent all this time finding it and bringing it to me. I better appreciate it. Your friend is just going to appreciate you being happy and healthy. Okay? And if that's without that item, that's without that item. And you should tell them, don't lie and say, oh, I ate it, it was so good. Let them know, because otherwise they might buy it for you again, thinking, oh yeah, they really liked it. Oh, I have a really bad memory associated with this food. Don't tell them it's an allergy. Allergies are serious. Don't tell them that, okay? So I ended up giving it to a friend of mine. I really appreciate it. I just can't have that type of food, okay? But let me know if you're going to buy me something else. Certain foods are okay for me, A lot of fruit stuff is okay for me, something like that if your friend cares. Okay. Cauliflower flour, artificial sweetener. She's tweaking her healthy recipe. Well, that's cool. Yeah, if it's something like healthy like that, that's awesome. I've known people to use pumpkin instead of butter, instead of recipes. It works well. I've heard that too. Okay. Or applesauce, yeah. Non-fat yogurt. That's another one. You can't just replace everything, okay? And if you're not a food scientist, that's okay. There's already all of these replacements online. There's already people that figure this out for you, okay? She took the shrimp out of the recipe. I had to use my EpiPen. Oof, that sucks. Be very careful with allergies. But don't lie about allergies, because that's just going to confuse everybody. People don't, especially like at restaurants, don't do that, okay? It just makes everybody mad because you're not actually allergic to the thing. All right. Well, I think that's it. I definitely do have to stop now because my migraine is making a resurfacing. But if you got any questions, comments, ideas, thoughts, what worked for you, how have you failed in the past and you just can't get around it, you're just looking for some outside ideas, feel free to post that in the comments section below. But as always, thanks for listening, you guys. See you later.